Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, a channel dedicated to personal development and all things entrepreneurship for boss girls. I'm Mahlangu, and this week I'm chatting habits that are absolutely transforming my life. You may hear I sound super excited. Well, that's because this thing really is making such a difference in my life, and I'm hoping that as you watch this and implement it, it will make the same difference in your life. And then we could all win together, guys. So let's do this. All right. So why do I find that habits are so important? Because if we are disciplined in one area in our lives, it is easier for us to be disciplined in other areas in our lives. If we are disciplined with one habit, with one item, it is easier to be disciplined with other things as well in our lives. Because you've heard the saying that success is merely your daily habits magnified. And it sounds cliche, but it's cliche for a reason. It's because it is true. So let's really look at our lives and, really think. A couple of years back, we maybe had ideas, we maybe had goals that we wanted to achieve, but we didn't really achieve them all. Why? Because we romanticized this big idea, this big goal that we wanted to achieve, not realizing that it takes a daily process to actually achieve our goals and all these ideas that we want to do. So what are these 5 habits? Habit number 1 is making my bed in the morning. It's so embarrassing to actually say this, but I want to say it because it really is a good habit that I now do daily without fail. And why do I say it's transforming my life? Because it kind of officially starts my day. So once my day is made, I'm not going back into bed, and I have this attitude of it's time to show up, be my best self, and to do what I've been called to do in that day. So that's habit number 1. Habit number 2 is spending time with God. I encourage everybody to actually take the time to spend time with God in the mornings and to also visualize the day, because spending time with God gives us the strength and the power we need to be our best selves and to do all that we've been called to do, because it's only through Him that we are alive and can do what we need to do. It's through Him that all things are possible. If we can kneel before Him, we can stand before anyone and stand before anything. And then with spending time with God, is just visualizing the day, just thinking, what kind of person do I want to be today? What kind of tasks do I need to do today? And how will I make sure that I do them? How do I make sure that I do everything that I'm meant to do? So those 2 habits really are making such a big difference in my life, because I don't go into my day just like blindly trying to figure out the day. I go into it already emotionally and mentally prepared. Habit number 3 is keeping a routine. And I know you all know me as a super spontaneous person who just goes about being carefree, wild, and so forth. Even in that, I still have a routine. Why? Because routines keep us in check, and routines give us the allowance to show up and be better and do better. So, for example, the routine that I keep is I exercise every Tuesdays, Thursdays, and on Saturdays I do a long distance run. Because I could just say to you, I want to exercise 3 times a week. But if I just blindly throw it out there, I'm basically setting myself up to fail, because I haven't made the allowance and the time allocation for that. But now I know that Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays, I'm mainly out for doing other things, because I know that I have a set thing that I'm meant to be doing. And ultimately, if I achieve it this week, I achieve it next week, that turns into a month, that turns into 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and before I know it, that's a year, and I've won to, and it's like second nature to me. I'm exercising, 3 times a week, and I could even grow from that. So having a routine is really important. Habit number 4 is packing my bag and writing a to-do list and choosing an outfit the night before. So I make sure that those things I do, because it just helps me to go to bed knowing what I'm going to wear tomorrow, what I'm going to do tomorrow, and then it just also helps me to have enough time in the morning to do the things that I need to do. Things like eating breakfast. I'm better when I've eaten. So if I don't allow and create the space for that, the night before, which spills on over to the next day, I'm basically setting myself up to fail. And I know that if I don't write it to do this the day before so that I know what I'm doing the next day, I will waste the whole day on social media, because I enjoy social media. So I can't set myself up to fail by not writing a to-do list and setting out what I need to do the night before. So that is transforming my life because it's allowing me to be more productive. And then the last tip is the habit number 5 is brushing my teeth, journaling, and reading a book before I go to bed. So once I brush my teeth, once I read a book, and once I journal, I know that that day is officially done. So I'm not going to try and squeeze in anything else after that, because I know that just kind of rounds off the day and helps me to wind off so that I can have good sleep. Because if I've had good sleep, I can actually show up and be better the next day. So those are the 5 habits that are absolutely transforming my life. So it's all great and well to talk about habits and how they're absolutely transforming and changing my life. But as always, with all my videos, I want you to walk away with some practical tips so that you can implement whatever it is I'm talking about in your life, so that we can all change and transform together. So let's discuss 5 tips to introduce habits into your life and to make sure that they actually stick and become second nature. So tip number 1 is that you want to write down a list of your habits. You don't necessarily have to do the habits I'm doing, because ultimately what works for you might not work for me, and what works for me might not work for you. So choose what will work for you. And then tip number 2, you want to put it up somewhere where you can see it, so that you can meditate on it, so that you can start to get emotionally and mentally prepared for it. And also, if you see it, it's a lot more difficult to forget about it. You get what I'm saying, all right? And then tip number 3 is that you want to start implementing 1, 2, or maybe 3 of those habits. Don't try and do everything all at once, because that's the fastest way that you will get overwhelmed and end up doing nothing at all. So pick about 3 or 1 or 2, whatever works for you, and then start to implement those habits at a time. And then, once you've actually done them for a while and they've become second nature to you, then you can start taking it off, and it will start to feel really amazing, because you'll see how where you were and how far along you're coming. So that's tip number 3. Tip number 4 is that you want to create the implementation space for it. So you want to prepare yourself mentally, you want to prepare yourself emotionally, you want to prepare yourself time-wise. So you want to make sure that you're actually setting aside time to do whatever is required of the habit. So for example, with my habit of exercising 3 times a week, I actually set out the time in my schedule, and I don't overbook stuff on the days that I know I'm wanting to be exercising. So create the space for whatever it is you want to implement in your life. And then tip number 5 is to get an accountability partner. And what you can do is that you can get different accountability partners for different habits. For example, with my running habit, I've got one of my best friends, Lorraine, who is also a runner. So we keep each other accountable. And there's other things in business, for example, that I'm wanting to have as habits, that I have other accountability partners. Or you can have one person. It's all up to you, but just have someone who can check on you, and maybe you can even check on them to make sure that you're achieving the goals, you're still doing what you intended to do. And then what you also want to do is that every 3 months, you want to take the time to actually review the habit. Is it working for you, or is it not? How is it serving you, and are you still serving the habit itself? Because, if you intended to do it in some way, you need to service it. So is it still working, or is it something that has already become so second nature to you, and now you need to move on to other habits? So every 3 months, you want to check up on yourself and do a little bit of a review. So let's summarize. 1, write them down. 2, put it somewhere where you can see it. 3, choose no more than 3 of those goals to do at a time. 4, allow for the implementation space and time. And 5, have an accountability partner and make sure to review those goals and those habits. I keep on saying goals and habits because I kind of look at them as goals, because once I've done it, it's like check, it's done. So in any case, I hope you have enjoyed this video. I have enjoyed making it for you guys, and as you can see, I started off in a different space and I'm now at a different location. But it's the joys of being a YouTuber in my life at this moment, so I'm making it work. However, if you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up and do comment down below and let me know what habits and what goals are you introducing in your life and how you wanting them to change and transform your life. Maybe you might share some habits that I haven't thought about that I can actually implement in my life. Do share this with your friends. Let's all change and transform together. And thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Don't forget to subscribe because I'm taking out some new content every week by God's grace. And so I don't want you to miss out on it. Lots of love. Mwah.